There we go. Let's start by asking everybody to, let's do a roll call first, shall we?
Councilmember Paulson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Way.
Here.
Mayor Kandel.
I'm here. Okay, if you are able, let's stand and do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we start our meeting tonight, I just want to make a couple of comments. Our council member passed away, Kevin Carroll, last week. And I just wanted to share some thoughts. Kevin was a really a passionate city council member. He came with a lot of life experience that a lot of us don't have, and was a really valuable perspective. And I think he really enjoyed being on the city council. I know there were times when he was sick, he could barely talk, but he would still talk for like 10 minutes, because he had a lot that he wanted to say, and he really cared, and he was passionate about it, and he'll be missed. Let me see if anyone else, I know requirements, but if anyone else has anything that they wanted to say, I wanted to open it up and see if anyone did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a few things. I worked a lot with Kevin, and we worked a lot on housing and aging issues and transportation. And we did a lot with the, rent stabilization work, which became Measure D. So I feel like he always did his homework, and he definitely cared a lot about the community. And to his credit, I think he did make a difference. And I'll miss him greatly. I feel he was a colleague. I also feel he was a friend. I wanted to read just a few things. The Board of Supervisors all knew him really well. Kevin had been on a school board and active in politics. He was very familiar with process. He also had two sons, both of which needed county services. So he was very active and engaged there. So a lot of the supervisors knew him. Supervisor Katie Rice texted me, and she said, Councilmember Carroll brought a lived experience and perspective to the public dais that we often don't hear here in Marin. He was a fine, honest, authentic advocate for people and causes that often do not have as residents resonating voice. Mary Sackett, Supervisor San Rafael, Kevin brought a perspective forward that is otherwise underrepresented. The street level cab driver has a view of our society that we often don't hear. And then finally, the president of the board, Rodoni, I too got to appreciate Kevin's fondness for his community and love of his home. So I'm glad we're commemorating him. And again, I'll miss him a lot.
I think you both spoke very well about Kevin. He's been on the council for about a year and a half, and I didn't get to know him as well because of different committee assignments and different things that we did. But I think that you echoed very well what his contribution was in the short amount of time. He brought a lot of perspective that challenged us to step out of sometimes our comfort zone and think about some policy issues from different perspectives. I just know he had a very loyal customers who are going to miss him. He had people who called him. He would sometimes get text messages over here on the dais, somebody ordering a ride from him that was a frequent customer of his. And I know a lot of people, when he joined the council, said to me, "Is that Kevin, the one who drives the cab? I've used his before." And they had all sorts of stories about him. So he'll be missed, and I just wish his family well. I know his last conversation I had with him probably in January as the nurse about his medical situation was he talked more about his sons and the people that he was going to, he wanted to make sure that they were well cared for. So I brought some flowers to sit at his seat tonight. So that's sort of my reflections and Godspeed.
All right, now, I think let's just take a minute of silence, if we could, before we start our meeting. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item in the meeting. Actually, before we do the next item in the meeting, I am going to, with the permission of staff, ask that we move business item 8.1 and 8.2 to the front of the calendar. Is that okay with staff?
I would never presume to give you permission, Mr. Mayor. It is your discretion to do that.
Okay, so moving business item 8.1 to the top, adopt resolution declaring the results of the special municipal election held March 5th, 2024. Is there a staff report on that?
Sort of the title of this is the staff report for the most part, but essentially you have two election results to acknowledge through resolution. One is the election of a new council member to fill the seat that was vacated by Kevin Haroff, and the other action is to accept the results of Measure D, the rent stabilization ordinance. And in taking that action, the rent stabilization ordinance effectively goes, it is effectively active upon your taking this action this evening.
Okay. Any discussion before we call for a vote on that? Okay, so can I get a motion for the passage of 8.1?
I move adoption resolution 15/24.
Second?
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Paulson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way.
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, 8.1 passes, which leads us to 8.2, which is the swearing in of our newly elected council member. Is that a staff swearing in?
That is your city clerk.
Okay, could we ask the city clerk to do that at this point?
Thank you. Yes, I'll ask Councilmember Stephanie Andre to join me at the front of the room. We can sort of stand here a bit in front of the councilman. And then I'll issue the oath of office to you. If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm. Stephanie Andre, solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
All enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
And will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
And we have your nameplate. All right. Welcome. Okay, now heading back to our regularly scheduled program, we will go to item 2, which is public comment. If anyone would like to make a public comment for something that is not on the agenda, now would be the time. Feel free to step on up to the mic. Seeing none, we will move on to item 3. Item 3, presentations and proclamations, we have none, which moves us to item 4, the consent calendar. Is there anyone on the dais who would like to pull an item from the consent calendar? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to pull an item from the consent calendar for discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion for approval of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Andre,
Yes.
Councilmember Paulson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall.
Yes. Okay, consent calendar approved. Moving on to item number 5, city manager's oral report.
Just one matter, Mr. Mayor, council members, with the certification of the election, with Measure D having passed, the rent stabilization ordinance now being active. Over the next several days and weeks, staff will begin to populate a page on the website dedicated to the processes that are invoked by the ordinance. People can continue to email or call me for questions and be happy to work through with individual landlords or tenants, the questions that they may have. Although it's active and provisions of it apply immediately, the city will be taking the next 4 to 6 weeks to really transition into implementation. And in fact, at your next meeting, we'll be bringing you some items to acquire resources to support staff in the implementation of the ordinance.
Perfect. And can I ask, is it possible at the next meeting? I know there are some complications about backdating certain things. We don't have to do it now, but maybe at the next meeting, if we could have some type of presentation that'll summarize that for everybody. Is that possible?
Yeah, and I can give you the Reader's Digest blurb here.
Okay, go ahead.
So one of the provisions in the ordinance is that the stabilization effect goes back to, I believe it's May 8th of 2023. So that means one of two things. Either if a rent was increased above 7% since May 8th, that tenant is either owed some sort of credit or refund for the amount that they were charged above 7%, or the landlord has the right to apply and explain that they had a need to be above that number due to some investment in the building or other extraordinary expense. So there's two paths that those different circumstances may travel along depending on the individual circumstances of the landlord and the tenant.
Okay, and just echoing so everybody understands when they review this later, there will be something on the website.
We're finishing forms to get up. Yes, and we'll have lots of explanation, and we're not going to penalize anybody to need a little time to digest all of this and put it in place.
Okay, so for anyone interested in finding out about this, give us, a week or two and then check the website. And it'll have information on how to exercise, whatever rights you have under this and apply for any refunds if they would be due to you. Accurate?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else on the city manager's report?
That's it.
Okay. Next item is council members' reports. Any council members like to give a report this evening?
Sure. I'll go first. So I attended the SMART board meeting today, the SMART Train board, and I'll report on that a little more frequently now because I think there are quite a few developments, and for me, it's related to housing. We are in Larkspur in such a unique position for transit-oriented housing, and trying to cultivate the potential of that mode of transportation. So starting April 1st, a few days ago, they now have free SMART for anyone over 65 and older, and 18 and younger. So that's an attempt to get more people on the train. And if you haven't ridden it, I'd highly encourage you. I went with the Larkspur walkers. I took 13 of them and just got them on the train. I bribed them with free Pete's coffee, and everybody agrees I did. They didn't. It's clean, it's on time, it's safe, it's really lovely, and it's a great amenity. And along with the train, there are trails, miles and miles of walking trails, and to the tune of 40 or 50,000 people walk that every month. So I encourage you to check it out. Also, starting April 5th, the Giants games, they'll be coordinating with, the ferry and other transit. So getting to the Giants game back and forth should be easy. Now, if you live in Larkspur, the train doesn't matter, but that's going to be for the, people north of Larkspur. And other than that, that's it.
Nothing for me as well. Stephanie, any reports you'd like? Not today. Okay, sure. Would you like to say anything?
Your command staff there.
I am very grateful for all the support that I received throughout this campaign, being a first-time public official. This is all very new, and I couldn't have done it without the guidance and help of many people, many of whom are in this room. So thank you very much for coming to support me in my journey. I do want to thank the people of Larkspur. I am incredibly humbled and honored to be representing you on city council, and I will do my very best to make the best decisions that I can in the best interests of our community. So thank you. I am excited to be working with my fellow council members, and I am ready to get to work. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll close item 6. Item 7, public hearings. We don't have any this evening. So item 8, we're now on 8.3, which is city council appointments. I believe there is one amendment. Vice Mayor Way, would you like to point that out for staff?
Yes, so the amended committee appointments with the death of Councilmember Carroll, we've made some, the mayor's made some changes, but the Community Development Block Grant Priority Setting Committee still has Councilmember Carroll's name on it and myself as an alternative. And if we can just make me the primary for that, that would be fine. Do you see that, Allison? Okay. Other than that, I didn't see any other changes.
Okay, any other council members have any other comments or changes they would like
you
to
see the
make on
list?
the committee appointments?
One other comment, the MCCMC Ad Hoc Committee on Climate Change Action is vacant. Is that committee not
It's not-
functioning? Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Do we need a motion to approve this?
Typically, you've done that, yes.
Okay, approved. Good. Oh, no, we need a
Typically,
motion. Oh,
Typically, you've allowed the whole council to support your appointment.
got it.
So-
Okay, so is there a motion to support my appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Andre,
yes.
Councilmember Paulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Way,
Yes,
Mayor Candell.
Yes. Okay, and that is the last item on our agenda tonight, other than the ceremonial drink that we usually have next door when someone is sworn in. So anyone who would like to join us, that's where we'll be. Any other comments before we wrap up the meeting?
I probably in my report should have said, Mr. Mayor, this will probably be the last short meeting for a while.
Yeah.
We have budget season starting, so
Okay,
expect some busy meetings.
okay, good to know. Any other comments by any council members before we wrap it up? Okay, having said that, meeting adjourned.